Bienvenidos de nuevo a Juguemos, a Gabriel Knight. La última vez entramos en la residencia de Magentia Moonbeam y, como siempre, vamos a echar un vistazo alrededor.
The Moonbeam residence looks like a cross between a voodoo temple and a Victorian fortune teller's parlor by way of Haight Street.
Bonita serpiente.
A large sluggish snake rests on the floor of the fancy bird cage. Apparently, Magentia is not a fastidious housekeeper. A shed skin shares the cage with its original owner. It's a large cluster of quartz crystals. The moon, it's an old-fashioned parlor lamp hung with crystal. The moonbeam,
No dice nada de la salida.
Magentia Moonbeam is wrapped in gauze and silks. She looks vaguely mysterious and mysteriously vague. The Moonbeam residence looks like
Vaya.
a large crystal ball is prominently displayed. A small draped table displays a crystal ball. Magentia's bottles probably contain secret ritual concoctions. The shelf holds a variety of unusual objects, the kind of thing Gabriel refers to as junk. The mask is made of carved wood and looks African. A glass lamp hangs from a chain over the table. A small blue chair sits to one side of the table.
Y Gabriel.
Handsome, isn't he?
Bueno, eso es lo que nos decían en la librería. En fin, vamos a hablar con Magentia.
Dr. John tells me you're a voodoo practitioner of some kind.
Yes, I am a voodoo priestess.
Do you get many people in here on an average day?
Some days the need for my power is greater than others. But I have many regular clients who would be lost without my vision, Mr. Knight.
I can imagine. That's a great-looking mask on the wall.
It's from Africa, a gift to me from Queen Tabitha.
Do you know Dr. John well?
Oh, yes, we are old friends. Those with gifts are often drawn together.
So, let's say I came to you wanting to attract a woman. Well, what would you advise?
Oh, I wouldn't think you'd have any trouble attracting women, Mr. Knight.
No. I guess I don't. So, what advice do you give your clients?
I tell them to follow the light, beware of the darkness, and always get expert spiritual advice from someone with the sight.
That's what I thought you'd say. Do you know
Oh,
Vale.
Do you get me?
but
Creo
That's
que
a
no.
great looking.
Dice nada
Do
más.
you know?
oh,
Do you get?
so, but I have,
I could. Do you get me?
but,
Do you get?
so, but I,
So let. So let's. Do you get?
someday, but
I could. So.
No, no dice nada más. Bueno, vamos a preguntarle en profundidad. A ver sobre qué temas podemos interrogarla.
Could I ask you a few questions?
of course, Seeker.
Seeker, buscador. Por supuesto, preguntémosle sobre el vudú.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
My practice is mainly selling charms and potions with magic power, such as gree-gree and voodoo oils. You know, everything from unrequited love to wandering spouses to winning a lawsuit. But my spells and charms are powerful, and they work.
¿Más?
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Much of a voodoo yen's work is protecting her clients from the spell of others. I make special protective gree to be worn in secret. They keep evil spells from working against my clients.
Muy interesante.
What can you tell me about...
The recipes for voodoo charms have been handed down from master to apprentice for centuries.
What can you...
I have told you all it is proper for you to know, Monsieur Knight.
Vale.
What...
Muy bien. Y sobre los crímenes.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Why, that has nothing to do with me and my clientele. But I can tell you that you should stay as far from it as possible. There is badness there. Very bad.
Y conociendo a Gabriel, seguro que hará caso omiso. En fin, ¿qué más?
So you don't think the voodoo aspects of the case are fake?
Fake? Let me tell you about fake. If I get information through the grapevine and make use of it, is that fake? No. That if people don't believe, there is not much I can do. But if they do believe, that is a part of my power too. But there are things, monsieur, things not even a little bit fake, I can tell you. Believe it or not, but stay away from it.
¿Qué más?
What do you mean? Do you know something about the case?
I work hard on fine-tuning my spiritual antenna, Monsieur Knight. And I get a clear signal from that direction. Beware.
Vale, me estoy empezando a congojar un poquito. ¿Más cosas?
What do you mean?
I will...
Nada. Bien.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is the center of voodoo practice in the United States.
¿Más?
What can you tell me?
It is a fascinating city with many dark secrets.
What can you tell me about?
It is my favorite place in the world.
Creo que el de Gabriel también. ¿Más?
What can you tell?
It is my...
Vale, creo que nada más. Y sobre las serpientes. Bonita serpiente la que
Do
tiene.
you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? You mean like my beloved Grimwald?
Greenwald.
She's a python, you know.
Ah.
Quite deadly in the wrong hand. I was trained by one of the great voodoo queens to learn how to hypnotize and handle snakes.
Ya. ¿Más?
Tell me more about snakes.
Oh, I wouldn't want to give away my trade secrets.
¿Algo más?
Tell me more.
Oh, I would...
Bueno. ¿Y sobre la víspera de San Juan?
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? It is the greatest night of the voodoo year. There is always a traditional conclave on St. John's Eve. Most of our voodoo churches these days hold functions in the church hall. But in the old days, they had ceremonies out in the wild, and they wore animal masks and had a huge bonfire and dancing. I used to go when I was an apprentice. Sometimes in the swamp, you know, Bayou St. John. Sometimes at the Lake Pontchartrain.
Vale. En el lago donde tuvo lugar el último crimen. Bien. ¿Qué más?
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
Special ceremonies are performed, and the Loa come to ride the faithful.
Lo.
What's the significance?
There is no night more powerful to voodoo magic.
What's the significance?
There is no...
Vale. Y sobre Caprice encore.
Do you have any idea what Caprice encore means?
No. No, I don't.
¿Seguro?
Do you have...
No. No, I don't.
Me parece que sabe algo. No sé por qué me da a mí. Y sobre Marie Laveau.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh, yes. She was the first of the great voodoo queens.
¿Más?
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
She ruled voodoo in New Orleans for 100 years, they say.
¿Más?
Do you know...
I'm sure a historian could help you with that, if you want to know more.
Sí, como el Dr. John.
Do you know any...
I'm sure I hit...
Vale. Y sobre las máscaras de animales que mencionaba...
Tell me about the animal masks.
I saw them used once or twice when I was younger, but you don't see them much anymore. They're too close.
¿Mm?
Too close to what?
Just bad karma.
Tell me about the...
I don't know what else to say about that.
Parece que no quiere hablar de ello.
Tell me about the...
I don't know what...
Las máscaras de animales tienen algo que ver, ¿verdad? Algo maligno. En fin, preguntémosle sobre ella misma.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes? What would you like to hear?
¿Cómo entraste en este negocio?
How'd you get into this business?
I trained in the voodoo arts for many years with the great Queen Tabitha.
Really? Who's she?
You have never heard of her? For shame! I can see you know little of the world of magic.
I'm beginning to get that impression, yes.
¿Qué tipo de gente viene a verte?
What kind of people come to see you?
Seekers after the truth, such as yourself.
Do you do anything else?
I am a voodoo yen, and that is plenty. It takes much spiritual effort.
Ya.
How many voodoo yens are there?
No one knows exactly. Many practice in secret. There are probably hundreds. But of course the level and the power of the voodoo yens differ greatly, depending on their training and natural gifts.
Ya me imagino.
Tell me anything at all.
I haven't always lived in New Orleans. I came here from Kansas as a young woman.
Ajá.
Tell me...
I began studying voodoo more than 20 years ago. I am well versed in the magical art.
Tell me anything at all.
Many non-believers come to me. They are usually believers when they leave.
Tell me any...
Dr. John sends me many seekers such as yourself.
Interesante.
Tell me...
I am happy here with my clientele and my snake.
O sea que tiene en principio todo lo que necesita, ¿no?
Tell me any...
I haven't always lived.
¿Algo más?
I began
Tell me...
many non-believers. Dr. John.
Tell...
I am happy.
Tell...
I haven't.
No, no aparece. Bueno,
I can't think of anything.
Very well.
más cosas. Sobre el sortilegio.
Give me an example of a gris-gris.
All right. Here's an old one. Take a lodestone and some brimstone to a crossroads at midnight. Light the brimstone with a match, and a spirit will come and give you advice in gambling.
¿Otro ejemplo?
Give me an example of...
Here's an old hoodoo Dr. Gree-Gree. Place a dime under your client's tongue, and if the client is under a spell of any kind, the dime will turn black.
Wow.
Give me an example...
To send someone away, take a rotten egg and write that person's name on it 9 times. You can also write on it where you want to send that person to. Take it and throw it against his door at midnight.
Vale, antes de nada he de decir que esto es ficción. Y si lo están viendo niños, no hagáis esas cosas. Vale, bien.
Give me an example of...
Here's a nasty one. To kill someone, get a sock or a shoe that belongs to that person. Put graveyard dirt in it and bury it under their front steps.
Does that work?
I don't know. I never tried it.
Yo tampoco lo quiero intentar, ¿eh?
Give me an...
To ensure the safety of your child, cut a lock of its hair while it is still a baby and keep it with you. The child must have all its hair before it can die.
These are interesting.
They're very old. The gree-gree that I prepare is much more powerful, I can assure you, but I don't give out those secrets.
Vamos, que sabe de lo que habla.
All right. Here's an...
Vale, creo que no me dice ninguno más, ¿no?
Give.
Just...
No.
Give.
Here's a...
Does that... Give me...
To ensure...
These...
They're...
Give...
All right.
No, no aparece. Sobre Greenwald.
About Grimwald.
What about her?
Os juro que no me sé las líneas de este juego. Bueno, igual algunas sí, pero... No la conseguiste.
Where'd you get Grimwald?
She belonged to a traveling reptile show. She was being terribly mistreated, so I offered to buy her.
Vaya.
She's named after a spirit guide I had once. The spirit Grimwald was a very powerful female snake priestess in Egyptian times.
Grimwald doesn't sound Egyptian.
No.
I only know what the spirits tell me. Monsieur, I am sure they know better than we.
Seguramente. Como aprendiste a tratar con Greenwald.
How'd you learn to handle Grimwald?
I told you a great voodoo queen taught me. She learned from Marie Laveau herself.
Vaya.
Ah, fascinating.
Tenemos buen material para la novela, entonces. ¿Qué tal si me dieras una escama de Greenwald?
Would you consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
No, I couldn't do that. You might do some gree-gree of your own, no? One must be very careful with such things. Hair clippings, nail parings, and snake scale.
Muy interesante. ¿Le preguntamos otra vez?
Are you sure you wouldn't consider giving me one of Grimwald's scales?
I told you I couldn't do that.
Porfa.
Are you sure you would...
Porfa.
Are you...
Nada. Dime cualquier cosa sobre Greenwald.
Tell me anything at all.
You have to be careful when handling a snake. They're more delicate than they look.
I'll bet.
Many people are afraid of snakes. Isn't that silly?
Totally.
Ay.
Tell me anything at all.
Snakes shed their skins from time to time. You have to be especially careful of them when they're shedding.
I'll keep it in mind.
Vale, en la lógica de los juegos de sierra es que nos están encaminando hacia la piel de esa serpiente.
Tell me anything at all.
Grimwald is very responsive to vibration. She doesn't recognize her name, but if I stomp 3 times, she looks right at me.
Vaya.
Tell me anything at all.
You have to be careful when handling a snake.
Oh.
Vale.
Tell...
Many people...
¿Algo más?
Snakes shed their skins from time...
Tell...
Grimwald is...
Ajá.
Tell...
You have to be...
Bueno, creo que nada más. ¿Puedes mostrarme cómo manejas el Springer?
How about showing me how you handle Grimwald?
Really? You would like to see me dance, perhaps?
Sí.
That would be swell.
I won't make you wait, Monsieur Knight.
¿Me lo parece a mí o también la tía le está tirando los tejos?
No matter what you see, do not be frightened.
Ajá.
I'll give it my best shot.
Muy interesante y nos dejan actuar. Está claro dónde tenemos que ir. ¿O qué es lo que tenemos que hacer?
Gabriel grabs the shed snake skin while Magentia is otherwise occupied.
Muy bonito.
They are truly inspiring, isn't it?
That's certainly one word for it.
Bueno, creo que nos vamos a ir.
Well, I guess I'll be gone now.
May the protection of the snake god go with you.
Thanks.
Sí, yo también estaba pensando lo mismo, Gabriel. En fin, bueno, ¿qué más tenemos? Recapitulemos. Podríamos ir a cementerio número 1. De todas maneras, quiero volver a St. George's un momento. Aunque quizá lo haga en el próximo vídeo mejor. Hasta la próxima.